We're proud of our country, mountains and streams.
Our Jennian culture, our nation, our team.
Partnering with people who share your values is important. To achieve gold medals, you've got to put the hard yards in. The Jennian team share that pursuit of excellence, giving their best every day. And they get the results. Well done on 40 years, Jennian. Thanks for being the team behind the NZ team.
Kia ora koutou, atamaria. Good morning and welcome everyone to the 2023 Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Champs. Here we are at Newtown Park in Wellington. My name is Hayden Sherman. With me here is Sarah Cowley-Ross, and we are pumped. This is day 2 of the 4-day program here in Wellington, and we've got some excitement, right, all set to go on the track. The 100-metre heats have already begun. We've had some junior heats go through. We'll be crossing over to the heats of the under-18 women who have just finished up, actually, so we'll be able to catch their under-18 boys. Or is it under 20 boys? So that'll be next up on the track. But Sarah Cowley-Ross, how are you? And what's happening on the field?
Oh, I'm great, Hayden. It's great to be here. Talofa lava to everyone at home today watching. And maybe if you're even around Newtown Park just wanting to tune into the commentary while you're here, it's going to be a great day of track and field. I'm pumped.
Yes, me too. This has been... I look forward to this event every year from about 2 days after the last one. And I'm like, man, come on, bring on the next one. And so here we are. And for all of these athletes, we've got 4 different age groups: seniors, under 20s, under 18s, and under 16s. For the vast majority of those athletes, this is the pinnacle event for the year. This is the moment they've trained for. All of the last 12 months has been geared around this moment here as we see the under-20s getting ready to roll. And for you would have done a fair few of these in your time. You are actually going to lace up the spikes and join the 4x1 later today. But what's the feeling amongst these athletes right now as they get ready for the weekend ahead?
Well, just coming into the ground this morning, I think there's an air of anticipation of what's ahead of us today. I think the national championships have always been the pinnacle event for the domestic season for our Kiwi athletes, and even more so in the last few years with the World Athletics System changing their qualifying standard, as we're seeing a number of field events bringing to you them live this morning. We're in the field currently. We've got the under 20 hammer throw for the women, the para long jump, the women's under 20 long jump, the under 18 high jump, and the women's shot put. So there's lots going on, but I think for me, national championships is about performing at your best, and I alluded to the World Athletics qualifying system and how they've changed that around being at your national championships gives you a lot more bonus points as opposed to other tiered events. So for our senior athletes looking to the road to the World Championships in Budapest later this year, this is a very significant event. They'll be looking for not only a win in their chosen event, but also a really strong performance which will amplify their points.
Very cool. Yeah, so a lot going on. This certainly forms the foundation of that qualification criteria for our elites, and look, for these youngsters coming through, this is a stepping stone onto that senior stage. So the under 20s 100 metres will be next up. So we've got the men lining up first. We've got 2 heats in this one, so it'll be top 3 in each will go through, and then the next 2 fastest. So in this one we've got Miller McElrea, Alex Frost, Tyrone Trago, Maka Normanton, and Joshua Price and Oliver Krynen. So those middle 6 lanes taken up by those athletes. And weather conditions, Sarah?
Pretty good, actually. I have
too
to
bad.
say, forecast for a bit of wind as per normal.
Yeah.
We are in Wellington, but I'd say it's not sweltering, but we haven't got our puffer jackets on, and I think that's probably a good indication, actually, whether the puffers are on. Now, one thing I just wanted to say is that it's so cool this year, I think, to have the under-16 category. Now, for athletes that are younger and looking for a pathway in the sport, this is a hugely significant stepping stone to be at this championships, and it's a real step up to be here from the children's athletics program, and so I think that provides a great opportunity for our youngest athletes out there.
Yeah, really cool to have the under-16s here as well. And as you say, in the past it's just been under-18s, under-20s and seniors, but definitely those cool pathway opportunities. So the first of these under-20 heats, and look, this is one of the key features of this morning's program is these 100-metre heats. At 10:30 we'll have the senior men, and then at 10:50 we will have the senior heats. We'll be able to see for the first time this season Zoe Hobbs, national record holder in the 100 metres, open up her campaign for the year, so that will be very exciting. So if you have to duck away from your screens, be sure to set your clocks for 10:30, 10:50 when the seniors will kick off. So action-packed start to the program. And we've just got a little wait while we get these under 20 100-metre heats underway.
There was a flick on to the women's under-18 high jump there, where the bar is going to go up to what I would say might be 170, and we'll give you an update from that shortly.
So in this first heat, key lane to look out for is the man wearing the Wellington vest, one of the local boys, Tyrone Trego, who has dropped a big PB this year of 10:61, and that puts him right up in the rankings, seniors and juniors. I think he's sitting 5th in New Zealand at the moment. So 10:61 on this track a few weeks ago at the Capital Classic. So he'll be certainly the man to try and keep up with. But we've got some strong under-20 athletes coming through the ranks at the moment. So a lot of these boys sort of getting into that low 11s, trying to duck under that 11-second barrier. But let's see how Tyrone gets his morning off, whether it's a good start. Here we go, the first heat of the under-20s 100 metres. And nice even start in the sunshine here at Wellington. Tyrone a little bit slow to get out of the blocks. Marco Normanton is away quickly, but Tyrone up onto his toes now and just pulling away. And he will claim that first spot. And it looks like just outside of him, Alex Frost and Marco Normanton of Taranaki will be second and third. So first three automatically to go through. And did we have Oliver Kreinen just pull up on the outside? As we see that beautiful stride from Tyrone once he got up to speed. And, unfortunately for Oliver, on the left of the screen, just pulling up maybe a hamstring. Early morning to be sprinting, isn't it, Sarah?
It is. But not for these young bucks. I mean, come on, they can do it, and that's devastating for Oliver. I remember him last year. He was a very strong contender in Hastings, and we hope that it's nothing too serious for him over at the women's under-18 high jump now.
Bar at 170.
First attempts. That's Naomi Waite there.
Yeah, so back to Oliver Kreinen. He picked up the silver medal behind Zach Saunders in the under-20s last year. So, yeah, he'll be really disappointed to start the day with that. Maybe coming into the weekend with a little niggle, who knows. But it's certainly the point in the season where you're pushing everything on all cylinders, and if something's going to break, it usually breaks this weekend.
Well, not that we want to put the commentator curse on any of our athletes this weekend. And that's Maya DeJager. She's a young talent to look out for. Jumped 178, I believe, at the Pirate Classic, and is a real prospect for the future over at the women's under 18 high jump. This is Amber Troe. No one over this height yet. This will be a key bar that they want to clear.
All right, heat number 2 lining up into their blocks. So just 2 heats in this under 20 100 metres. And we've got Gurpreet Singh from Waikato Bay of Plenty, Liam Kilby from Hawke's Bay Gisborne, he's running in lane 3, Theo Elmazan from Manawatu Wanganui in lane 5, Finn O'Sullivan from Canterbury, lane 6 Ben Lambert from Wellington, lane 7 Sebastian Ferro from Otago, and then Ethan Lagatul from Auckland on the outside. He's making a good strong finish, but the Wellingtonian Ben Lambert, he's looking very strong. We've had another hamstring right towards the end. Ethan Lagatul just pulling up in that same lane as Oliver Krynen. Is this the cursed lane?
Don't read into it, Hayden.
No,
don't read into it.
Shouldn't read into it. You're right. Right there at the end, just there, there's the hamstring with about 10 metres to go. But good strong finish from Sebastian Ferro and Finn O'Sullivan. They will be through to the final. And I think it was our Hawke's Bay Gisborne athlete Liam Kilby coming through. So results coming through now: 11.03 for Ben Lambert, 11.07 for Sebastian Ferro, and Liam Kilby 11.29. Our fourth place was Finn O'Sullivan, 11.57. So we'll have to wait and see. Fourth place, was Gurpreet Singh with 11.34.
Just a nice following win of 1.3 tailwind there as Maya Jager misses her second attempt at 170 in the under 18 women's high jump.
So despite some early hamstrings, conditions are pretty good, really. We've got a nice tailwind. And look, I came to this event with a winter jacket, long trousers, thermals packed just in case. But at the moment, I'm in shorts and t-shirt, so it's pretty good.
Look, I think the thing is, you just got to be prepared for everything.
Yeah.
This is 2023 and we're in Wellington. You know, you can't beat Welly on a great day as we're at the women's high jump.
So
170 proving the height to get. And
yeah, we're trying to just concur who's left in the competition because our results are slowly coming through. They're sort of stuck at 157 was the last measure we got, but I believe it's Amber Trow with Maya DeJager, and is Jodie McCarthy Dempsey from Canterbury still in the competition?
no, I think maybe Naomi Waite is.
Right.
But Maya DeJager has scored for the claps. Round 3, 170.
Here we go. Final attempt. Maya DeJager, up she goes.
Very
and over.
good. Woo! And that was a great bend by Mia. She really attacked that bend so nicely and ran a really strong curve to set herself up to get over that bar. As you can see there, keeping her left shoulder high, and my goodness, she's got room to spare over that bar.
Looked very good. So she's got a PB this year of 178. Now, talk to us about that technique, because obviously the high jump, you're jumping backwards, so you do need to rotate. That bend is important to get the body facing the right way relative to the bar.
So, Hayden, high jump is a bit of a, well, it's a bit of a mind game
Yeah,
in
I
that
bet it is.
you're actually you are jumping over backwards, but if you run the curve hard and stay away from the bar, you're actually put yourself in a better position to clear the bar. So it's the central fugal force, if we're going to get into physics terms, that really allows you to get up and over. But the key thing is staying away from the bar, whatever is your inside shoulder to the bar. Keep that high, keep that lean on for as long as possible. Because
we know Hamish Kerr has been actively trying to increase his speed and his approach. And is that part of it, just trying to increase that centrifugal force be far enough away so that you can use that force to propel you over.
Yep, it is. It is part of it, and the speed generated allows you to put more impulse on the ground if you stay on the lean.
Right.
So it's a lot of sports science, biomech analysis, but certainly working for Mr. Kerr, isn't it?
Absolutely. 2:34 this year, New Zealand record in the men's high jump. We've also got the women to come later this weekend as well, and bunch of girls getting well up into the 180s now as well. So exciting male and female with our current crop of high jumpers.
Now, I think this is Naomi Waite. I'm sorry, our results just aren't quite at the same speed as the live results, but we'll get that sorted.
Yep,
From
you're
my
right.
understanding,
Double check.
yep,
Naomi Waite.
And we've got 2 competitors left in the women's under-18 high jump, so they'll go at their first attempts. Watch the first attempts on this one, as we've also got the women's
Yes, so under 18 shot put. So that was Cheetah Jane Skelton.
We've got 2 heats, I think. Yes, 2 heats.
Here she is, Naomi Waite, coming in from the right-hand side. That was a good attempt. So Naomi's best this summer is 170 compared to Mia's 178. So on paper, you'd expect Mia to be a little bit more comfortable with this, but we know that what's on paper doesn't really matter once you get to national champs.
Yeah. That's right, Hayden. It's all on.
All right, so we have the women's under 20 heats in the 100 metres. Again, just the two heats. So top 3 to go through, the next 2 fastest. In lane 2, we have Neve Townsend from Otago. Then we've got Paige Krulmati from Manawatu Wanganui. Also from Manawatu Wanganui, running in lane 5 is Shail Collette. In lane 6, we've got Kiani Pohi from Waikato Bay of Plenty, as Mia just taking down the bar on her first attempt. Back to the shot put with Alexa Duff. So we've got the 100 metres down what we call the zoo end of the of the ground, which is not so much related to the behaviour of the crowd in the stands, more the fact that the Wellington Zoo is right behind that embankment.
Great zoo. Great zoo. Oh,
it is a great
Naomi
zoo.
Waite has gone over. Second attempt, 173. This will put the pressure on Mia Jager.
And that's only 1 centimetre behind Naomi's PB of 174. So she's getting up into that rarefied air of lifetime best material. So definitely ball back in the hands of Mia to see what she can do in the second attempt at 173. But we leave the high jump for a moment as we click over. Oh, and we're getting the clap going. So here is the second attempt. Mia Jager, bar at 173. This is to stay in the competition. Oh, that was a good attempt. Just maybe that right foot clipping it. As we see Michaela Sola. And that one just going outside the sector. Good throw though.
Her best today is 12.23.
So yeah, leading the competition is, I was going to say Kate Haley, but she's in second place, and third is Isabella Poor, and Susie Kenley out the front with a 14.11. But it's pretty close, with Kate Haley only 13 centimetres back in 13.98. So the women's under 18 shot in round 4 now. As we see Melelo Selene Losse from Waikato Bay of Plenty. She's sitting in 4th, so just outside the medals at the moment. Here she is. Final attempt. Oh! Gives a clap to the crowd. Thanks them for cheering her on. But that will be a silver medal for Mia, and it does mean that Naomi Waite, the hometown girl, will take out the gold. And will she stay in the competition and see if she can progress those heights? We are away in the first heat of the under-20 women's 100 metres, and look at this, Shale Collette already just moving away from the field, really asserting her dominance as probably the favourite of this competition. I'm sure her sister will have a thing to say about that in the next heat, but very close for second and third behind her. We'll wait and see the results to come through. Remember, 3 of these athletes to go through automatically, and then the next 2 fastest from each of the heats. So look at Shael here, steaming away. Beautiful technique. Love that good strong arm drive all the way to the line. And 11.69 for Shael Collette. That is quick. So 0.6 metre tailwind. So it's pretty close to still, which is something we may not say all weekend long. And Isabella Pua here in the shot. Ooh, that looked good. That looked out towards 14 metres. That could move her up from that bronze medal position.
20 competitors are lining up, about to be introduced. And the finalists here are firstly Blessing Sifo from Auckland.
I think that's a personal best by Shao, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've got, what is it, 11.84 before this. So 11.69 in the heat.
Smashed it!
She's coming to run. Phew.
Corin Henning from Wellington.
Now, yesterday we had the under 18s 200 metres, and that was taken out by Tika Randall in the women's, and Michaela Fitzy, and then Mia Diega was in bronze. So she's not just a high jumper, she's also picking up some medals across the running events as well.
I spy heptathlon.
Oh yeah. Love that. I'm like, should make a good 800 metre runner. Oh, Naomi, first attempt at 175. So this is her going for a PB, which would be a 1 centimetre PB. First time miss for her as we scoot on back to the zoo end of the ground, where we've got Susie Kennelly.
Great throw there by Susie. Her best performance in round 3 this morning, 14.11. That'll push that.
That up, that's very close to the 15. So those little dots on the throwing sector, which I think are half tennis balls potentially.
They make great cones though.
They do. One of the things in Wellington is
cones
don't stick in the ground very well, so you do need to think laterally about these things.
You do. Just Naomi Waite there, just having a little word to her coach, Mike Ritchie. I think I'd like to see the same aggression in her run-up that I saw at 173. And she's just moved her run-up just slightly back, just really pushing it as she gets more adrenaline to jump over these higher bars.
Now, we had a national record here in the high jump, 12 months ago? 2 years ago, with Hamish Kerr. Do you like this place for jumping?
I love this place for jumping.
Yeah.
And, you know, Eleanor Patterson jumped. I don't know. It's just a really nice apron, but let's go.
Yeah, let's go back to the second heat of the 100 metres, and we've got Adira, the sister of Shael, running really well. Mariel Vanita on the inside of her also, and Anne Peasley from Auckland looks like she'll pick up that third place. Sarah Hewlett coming through for fourth, and Maylee Zali, one of our international athletes in lane 6 there. So Adira and Shael, it'll be the Collette showdown going into the final later today. That looks to be exciting. I love the little internal battle with the Collette sisters. It's funny because they'll never get away from each other in terms of age group racing. They'll be racing each other into the Masters race.
And that final set to go at 4:30 this afternoon. It's the battle of supremacy in the Collette household, and I can't wait to see it.
Do you think they have a little deal, like who's shouting celebration meal or celebration ice creams or something at the end of the weekend? Surely they've got some sort of internal...
I really hope so.
Yeah.
Here's Naomi, The bar's 175. It's her second attempt. Much better run-up, but unfortunately...
Is that the mind games?
That's the mind games coming in, Hayden. This is probably, it looks probably about her height. So she's trying to jump over her head on a new personal best height. But got to make the most of these opportunities. When the bar comes to the personal best height, that you rise to the occasion.
All right, so under 20 men's discus lining up now, and we have Blessing Seffel, Persa Marker, Harrison McGregor, Corin Hanning, F12 athlete, McLean Forbes, and Hanor Nell lining up in this discus event. Now we've had a couple of throws already gone out, so Harrison McGregor's thrown a 46.42. Blessing Seffel sitting in second behind him with a 43.32, and Percy Marker's first one was a foul. And here is Corin Hanning.
He's coached by Marshall Hall, who was multiple New Zealand national title holder, and I saw him this morning, and Marsh said that Corin's in for a goodie. He's set multiple New Zealand records lately in his class, and we look forward to seeing what he does. Coaches via video, actually, because
Wow.
Marshall's based in Auckland, Corin based down here. And he's a real para-athlete to watch.
Absolutely. Here's Naomi Waite. She's already claimed the gold in this under-20s high jump competition, but can she also, under 18 high jump competition, can she also take home a PB? That would be the perfect way to end a Saturday morning of high jumping here at her home, Newtown Park. Last attempt. It's a good attempt, but not quite enough, but we know it's good enough for the gold. Wonderful jumping there from Naomi Waite. She takes home the national title and just a whisker away from PB as well. Sarah, how do you wrap up that?
Oh, I like that. I like that she went after it on that. She didn't waste the attempt on that third attempt. I think she's an exciting jumper to watch, really. Back to the women's shot put, under 18. That's Losse from Waikato Bay of Plenty.
So we're into round 5 now. So yeah, Melosalene Losse is sitting in 5th place at the moment. It's a bit of a log jam up there for those top 5 placings. And on screen we have the boys lining up for the senior men 100-metre final. This is where we find out who is the fastest dude in the country. We have 3 heats, so we'll be looking for the top 2 of each heat to go through, and then the next 2 fastest. We've got Fergus McClay on the inside from Otago, James Robertson from Waikato Bay of Plenty, James Guthrie Croft from Papatoetoe, Ethan Calder-Cass from Wellington, Tommy Tapuni from Auckland, Jonathan Maples from Manawatu Wanganui, Jackson Rogers from Otago, and our number 1 man in the 100 metres in terms of time this year, Tian Welkton, running in lane 8. What can Tian do, and can any of these other boys keep with him?
And will we see Tian utilise these conditions? Because the sun is on the track. We have a beautiful tailwind right now. So will he go all out, Hayden?
He does like running heats very fast.
He
Remember
does.
back at the Potts Classic, he ran a 10.18 in the heat and then came back and ran a final in 10.18. So can he run another 10.18 resident record? Remains to be seen. Or can he go faster? I'm sure he'll be enjoying this these weather conditions. Rocking up to Newtown Park and the flags are barely fluttering. You know you've won the lottery right there.
Well, I saw him this morning and he means business. He's fresh off that third in the Maury plant meet last week in Melbourne. And he's got to get some valuable World Athletics points on the road to Budapest or get the automatic qualifier.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
I'd love the latter, but we'll take the former. I think the auto is 10.00.
You know what? I think he would too.
Yeah. We would all love to see a 9-something in the 100 metres from a Kiwi, and so why not today? Okay, so here they are lining up in the first heat of 3. Remember, 2 go through, and then the next 2 fastest. This is the first of the senior men's 100 metres. So if you've got a friend who doesn't know this is on, now is the time to hit that share button. Send it out to your friends and whānau and club mates. So we're away in the first heat of the senior men's 100 metres, and up on his toes already is Tian Wellington. Here he goes, looking so smooth. Outside of him in lane 3, number 170, James Guthrie Croft, looking good as well. Tian into his work for the weekend. Looks so comfortable.
Well, the answer to our 10.47. Shut down early.
Yeah.
So the answer
It looked
to
like he
our...
shut it down at 50 metres.
Yeah, well, yes, I'm sorry for his competitors, but look at him there. He's incredibly strong in the gym. Has a little look around.
Yeah, so probably more like 70, 80 metres. Looked over his shoulder, said, yeah, I can just ease off a little bit with this one. No need to hit that 10.18 again. Not yet. So Tian Wellington, 10.47. James Guthrie Croft, 10.63. They go straight through. Tommy Tapuni will need to wait and see what happens, because he's got a 10.70, and then we've got Fergus McLeay with a 10.77. So I'm going to write 10.77 down.
1.8 following one, talking about conditions.
Oh, yeah. Back to this discus. And we've got a foul there.
It's Harrison McGregor of Waikato Bay of Plenty.
So heat 2 of 3 of the senior men's 100 metres. And like I said before, be sure to jump on your YouTube player, find that share button, that little arrow icon, and just send this out to your social media, and let's get eyeballs on screens, because this is the fastest humans in the country right here. We've got the senior men, senior women. This is your chance to see who are the speediest in our little nation here in the South Pacific. Joseph Miller will line up in lane 2, New Zealand 200 metre record holder. In lane 3, we've got George Kozlov from the North Harbour Bays Athletics. Hayoto Yonito from Southland. Look out for him. John Gerber from Otago. Serevi Sos, one of the hometown boys. Hamish Gill in lane 7. And Johnny Key from Samoa out in lane 8. Great to have our Pacific Island neighbours joining us again after a couple of years of absence from this competition with COVID border closures, but awesome when we've got our Tahitians and Samoans. Yeah, so great to have them come over and take part in our national champs.
Yeah, Whāmā Losi, Johnny Key.
Heat 2. Senior men's 100 metres, good start there from John Gerber in the middle. He's right up onto his toes. Also Hamish Gill running really well, steaming down the track here at Newtown Park. Holds on, and Hayato Yonito got a good close, and I think he might have just dipped out John Gerber, who got the good start. So the
Gill looked good.
Was close.
Yep, Gill looked good. You know, coached in the by James Mortimer in that sprinting squad on the North Shore of Auckland. And as we see there, just really striding out and again, shutting down early. They've got a big program ahead of them.
Oh, look at that dip for the line. Yonito, great work. Booking his place in the final, running all the way through the line. Oh, look out, cameraman, because that one was coming towards you. So out in the field, we've got the under-20s men's discus. We've got the under-18s women's shot put. And if we got a little update on the standings with that shot put competition, because we're in round 6 now.
We are in round 6. We've got a number of, we've got the top 5 to go actually. That was a foul for Michaela Solar there, as you saw on your screens, but we've got Susie Kennelly is currently in the lead with 14.46 to Kate Haley of Auckland, 14.06, and Isabella Pua of Waikato Bay of Plenty, 13.70. This is Mele.
There she goes. So she's sitting in 5th place. She needs to hit a 13.70 to move up into that bronze medal position.
Her best today is 12.24.
Looked to me like around about another 12. All right, the final heat of these senior men's 100 metres. We've got Shula Orr from Otago running in lane 1. In lane 2, Cody Wilson from Wellington. Lane 3, Quinn Anders from Canterbury. Samuel Harris from Otago. Kurt Sweeney from Waikato Bay of Plenty. Felix McDonald from Otago. Dhruv Rodriguez Chico from Auckland City. And Hamish Moore. Now keep an eye out for Dhruv in lane 7, because he has a time this year of 10.57, sitting number 4 in the New Zealand rankings. And also I think Cody Wilson will fancy his chances on his home track here. So this heat is set to be very, very close indeed. Now I believe Dhruv is based in Australia, a Kiwi based in Aussie. Yep, so you've just brought up some notes that have been wonderfully prepared by Steve Landels, the Athletics New Zealand marketing manager. And yeah, best of 10.57, which he set 11th of February in Adelaide. Steve says in the notes, could be a dark horse. Let's wait and see.
Oh, I love that.
So Dhruv is running in lane 7. Cody Wilson, who I also mentioned, is running in lane 2 wearing the Wellington vest. So we've got Orr, Wilson, Anders, Harris, Sweeney, McDonald, Chico and Moore. And they're away. Good even start away cleanly. Dhruv is up to his action with Chico, and then Cody Wilson looks like he'll come through that 2nd place. Very close for the minor placings, but Chico really proving that form that he's come into this event with. And so he'll be the first automatic qualifier. 10.53 and wind just above the legal limit, so 2.2. But he was steaming down the track here at Newtown Park, even easing up with that 10.53. Cody Wilson with a 10.78, and Felix McDonald will miss out. He gets 3rd place with a 10.94. That won't be enough to get him through to the final. But man, we've got an electric final. You need to be 10.77 or better to make that senior men's final. Well, 10.70, so Tommy Tapuni is the final qualifier. So to think that Tommy Tapuni has to squeak in with a little cue shows the quality of the field.
And that was Susie Kennelly with a huge last round in the under-18 women's shot put. Her best before that throw in this competition was 14.46, but to me that's looking like the best throw of the day. I'll give you that result shortly.
So she won this event last year with a 14.44, so she's almost competing with herself with this last throw. And got 2nd place behind Isabella Poor at the New Zealand Secondary School Champs. But at the moment, she's in that gold medal position, 14.81. So she improves as you predicted, as you picked it, right up close to that 15-metre mark. So we believe that could be very close to a PB for Susie. What a way to finish in the final round here at the National Champs Under 18 Women's Shot Put. As we see Corin Hanning getting the discus out around that 40-metre mark. And yeah, we believe it was pretty close to a PB. 15.22 was her best, which was set 1.5 years ago actually. So Susie Kennelly, she's your champ in the under 18 shot put. Now next up on the track will be the senior women's heats in the 100 metres. So if you haven't already hit that share button, hit the share button. Also jump in the comments. Basically, a few tips on how to make the most of your viewing experience over the weekend. One is to jump in the comments, to hit that share button and get lots of action going on there. And the other little inside pointer is to head to live.athletic.net, search for the Jennian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Champs, and you can follow all the results that we're seeing and reporting to you. You can follow them live. They come through literally within a few seconds of crossing the line, so that's a great way to follow it. And this is your first time discovering liveathletic.net. Sarah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's so good. I'm so pumped. So I've taken on tip 2 of Hayden Sherman this morning. Thank you very much. But I'm going to give you tip 3. And that's Hayden and I will be doing some in-field interviewing of the athletes after their performances. If you have a burning question to ask them, please get in touch with us, either in the comments box, find us on social media, drop us a DM, and we'll get asking. You know, anything you want to know.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to ask it.
And I would like, challenge to all the viewers, I would like 5 messages to me on correcting pronunciation, please, over the weekend. Can we get 5 names corrected? Because we've probably got 400 athletes lining up in this event. We usually have around 400. So guaranteed there'll be a handful of those that we mispronounce. So do correct us. Always love to get the pronunciations correct. Now, standing so far in this discus competition, Harrison McGregor is in the lead with a 46.42, but it's very, very close. And he just improved just there with a 46.48. But then it's only 10 centimetres back to Percy Marker, which 10 centimetres, that's less than the length of the discus itself. Then it's only another 32 centimetres back to Blessing Sefor in 3rd place with 46.06. So these boys already in round 3 dropping some bombs in the discus, and it is very close going as they send them into the Wellington sky. Wind-wise, there's just it's really a northerly maybe coming over their right shoulder as they're looking out to the sector. Hanor from Hawke's Bay Gisborne. And while we're mentioning Hawke's Bay Gisborne, thoughts go out to all of our viewers tuning in from that part of the country who have had it tough for the last couple of weeks, and also in Auckland and Northland. It's been a rough old summer.
Yeah, ngā mihi kia koutou to our whānau up in the Hawke's Bay and the Tairāwhiti area in particular. Tamaki Makaurau and Northland. Our thoughts are with those who are dealing with some hard stuff right now.
Yeah, so if you are tuned into this, it means the power's back on. So it's great to have you tuned in from up there, and awesome as well to have all those athletes and spectators and coaches who have been able to make it down from those parts who've been doing it tough. We're going to take a short break, and as you can see, the senior women are getting ready for their 100-metre heats. We will catch you shortly.
We're proud of our country, mountains and streams.
Our Jennian culture, our nation, our team.
Partnering with people who share your values is important. To achieve gold medals, you've got to put the hard yards in. The Jennian team share that pursuit of excellence, giving their best every day. And they get the results. Well done on 40 years, Jennian. Thanks for being the team behind the NZ team.
Clinicians thinks the way your body works is fascinating. Look at what happens when you breathe. Your lungs are constantly bringing in fresh air, catching oxygen to power your body and getting rid of carbon dioxide. But in winter, our lungs may need added support. So we've created Prospan Bronchial Syrup. New Zealand's #1 natural bronchial syrup, it contains a unique ivy leaf extract to soothe the throat and help clear the airways, supporting your whole family's health this winter. Clinicians, keep your body working.
All right, everyone play it cool.
Is there a problem, sir?
Just a routine security check. Mightn't pop in the boot for me.
There's nothing back there, sir.
Well, there won't be any problem with me taking a look in there, will there? There's thousands in cash back there. This car must be The brand new Skoda you're giving away on the Hits with the Cash and Car competition! Can I get a selfie?
Yeah, it's always nice to meet a fan.
Not with you, mate, with the car. Can you lot move down so it's just me in the car?
Listen to the hits to be in to win a Skoda Kamiq Monte Carlo loaded with...
Thursday, March 16th, live on the Athletics New Zealand YouTube channel, the Sir Graham Douglas International, presented by Harcourts Cooper & Co. Your summer of athletics continues as a galaxy of star names compete at this World Athletics Continental Tour event with the World Athletics Championships and World Para Athletics Championships in their sights. The Sir Graham Douglas International, presented by Harcourts Cooper & Co. Watch live Thursday, March 16th on the Athletics New Zealand YouTube channel. Proudly brought to you by Douglas Pharmaceuticals, Harcourts Cooper & Co., The Trusts, The Hits, and our event partners.
To be awarded more than any other in the Registered Master Builders House of the Year Awards is testament to the craftsmanship that goes into every Jennian home. Thanks for continually raising the standards. Well done on 40 years, Jennian.
Kia ora everyone, welcome back to the 2023 Jennian Homes New Zealand Track and Field Champs. This is day 2, session 1 here at the Newtown Park track in Wellington. We've got a overview of the hammer throw under 20s. This was completed earlier this morning with Elizabeth Hewitt taking it out with that big heave of 51.13. Nadia Kumrich in second with the 44.61, and then Michaela Sola, another one of our Wellington athletes, coming through for the bronze medal, 43.95. So a few of the junior field events have wrapped up. The big one to come at 12 will be the women's javelin throw, featuring Tori Peters, New Zealand record holder, New Zealand world champs representative. And then at 1 o'clock we've got the senior men's long jump, and then 1:20 the senior women's shot put, where we have Madison Wishy lining up in that. Now, this is heat number 1 of 2 of the senior women's 100 metres. We've got Samantha Fanai in lane 2, Brooke Summerfield in lane 3, Ellen Carter lane 4, Anna Percy from in lane 5, and Zoe Hobbs opening up her season, opening up her 2023 here at the New Zealand Track and Field Champs. Will be running on the outside lane closest to the crowd. What do you reckon, with the northerly blowing from the right hand of these athletes? It's a little bit more sheltered closer to the grandstand. You've run here a few times, Sarah Kelly-Ross.
I have run here a fair few times, actually, Hayden, and it is very variable from lane 1 to 8, actually, I have to say. So, yeah, there might be a little slight advantage or disadvantage depending on your lane placement, but so great to see Zoe back on track, ready to start her season after a huge year in 2022.
Could not be more huge.
Could not be more huge. Well, she started the year, with the joint record holder with Michelle Seymour, 11:32, and then we saw her progressively, get the record outright, knock it down, and then that semi-final performance at the World Championships in Oregon, awesome to see, 11:08, then she backed it up, finalist at the Commonwealth Games. Just so good, and so good for New Zealand sprinting, and also for our community in athletics to have a 100-metre runner on that stage.
Yeah, and when we talk finalists at the Commonwealth Games, this is the 100-metre sprints where you've got Jamaica, Nigeria, all other Caribbean countries, Britain, Canada. You're basically only missing, in terms of sprint powerhouses, the United States. So so great to see Zoe in the world ranks and totally at home as well.
Yeah, that's what I really liked about Zoe last year, was that it really looked like that she felt she belonged on that stage, and she owned it. And I think, she got COVID in between the World Championships and the Commonwealth Games.
Did she? I didn't realise that. Wow.
And so I think we will see a jump up. She's had a slight niggle this summer, that's why we haven't seen her, but she'll look to build on this weekend as she builds into her road to Budapest at the World Championships later this year.
So exciting. So great to have a truly world-class sprinter in our midst, and a lot of girls right on her heels as well. And Anna Percy just next to her is, she ran that super fast 100 metres back in 2021 with an 11:40. She's more focused on the hurdles this year, going back to what might be her first love, but also keeping an eye out for Brooke Summerfield. She won the Porritt Classic a couple of weeks ago. So here we are, heat number 1 of 2, 3 to go through, next 2 fastest automatically. The senior women's 100 metres here at the New Zealand Track and Field champs, Zoe Hobbs, for the first time in 2023, pulling away from the field. It looks very close for that second and third place, but Zoe Hobbs, there she is, looking full of beans, Sarah Kelly-Ross. How good.
How good. You know what? She's ready. And she's here to make a statement. You know, she's enjoyed this huge support of New Zealanders, just looking there. No signs of any slowing down there by Zoe Hobbs. And I can't wait for that final later on today. I know we've got a few heats coming up, but just to remind you, the women's senior women final 100 metres, 4:52 this afternoon.
What I love about watching Zoe is, you know, some 100-metre sprinters sort of muscle their way to the finish. She just is smoothness and control all the way to the finish, and I'm sure we'll get more time during the weekend. But anything about her technique, her way of going through the phases that you're particularly loving in the way that she's approaching her 100 metres?
Well, I'm married to a sports scientist who has looked at Zoe's last
so you've got
40
an inside
to 50
scoop, right?
100 metres. So
yeah.
I really need his brain to answer that conversation. And maybe we'll bring him up later on. But he's currently coming down from Tauranga. But he'll be able to give you the stride rate and the stride frequency of Zoe and how that's progressed. And initially what we saw Zoe was very frequency based, but with we just got an announcement in behind us. We'll get to that, but you can see with Zoe's strength that she's got now, her stride length increasing a little bit. 11:07. Goodness me. 11:07. Let's get that win.
Oh, we need the win.
Goodness me, we're too busy talking about Zoe's technique and not giving
So
it
we've
the
got
time.
11:08, which would be... Oh, no, that's coming into... Oh, my gosh. We seriously need need the results to come through. We're totally on each. So current New Zealand record is 11:08. Now, if the wind is 2 metres 0.0 or less, it will be a new New Zealand record, which will explode my brain. Remember, this is just the heats.
Okay.
So we're going to keep you posted as we see Harrison McGregor line up in the under-20 discus.
It was not the best of time for our computer just to not refresh.
I think everyone in the world is trying to refresh their results.
I can see some of the fans around us that are in the stadium at Newtown Park. They're looking at their phones. They're looking to us. We're looking back at them.
Everyone's trying to refresh at the same time.
Oh, goodness me.
So, a reminder, the national record is 11:08. We've heard rumours that it might have been Zoe Hobbs might have run an 11:07, but we don't know what the wind reading is, and we've had yet to see confirmation through the results about that time. So I'm on the edge of my seat. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've had it confirmed over the loudspeaker. The time was 11:07, and the wind must have been legal because it has been confirmed as a new national record in the 100 metres by Zoe Hobbs in the heats. The wind was legal, so 1.8 metres per second. Zoe Hobbs has dropped a national record in the heats of the senior women's. Here we go. Heat number 2. We've got Rosie Elliott, Tamsin Harvey, Livy Wilson, Veronica Shanti-Pereira, and Veronica Shanti-Pereira is right up on the shoulder of Livy Wilson, just pulling away from her now, so she'll go straight through. She's come over from Singapore. Then Livy Wilson just outside, just inside of her. It looked like Rosie Elliott was in 3rd. Oh my goodness, the drama already. So 11.46 for Pereira. Livy Wilson, 11.51. The wind was 1.7, so I think that's a personal best for Livy Wilson, just being pushed along by our Singapore athlete. Huge results here in the 100 metres. Absolute drama. That's a big PB from Livy Wilson. We've had a national record from Zoe Hobbs. Ladies and gentlemen, the action has begun. Sarah Cowley-Ross is jogging on the spot because trying to contain the excitement, and rightly so.
Well, we hadn't seen Zoe, and then she comes out and she runs a national record in the heats at the national championships.
She's supposed to have a niggle. Here we go. Here's the replay again. So we talked about the smooth technique, and I almost thought she had shut it down because she was looking so smooth and relaxed and controlled. Runs through 11.07, new national record, booked her place to Budapest. Livy Wilson in Heat 2 runs a big PB.
Well, Livy Wilson's at the start line, hearing the result of her teammate, her friend, a person she treats as her physiotherapist, and then she runs a personal best. Hayden Sherman. This is so great.
Oh, the drama. And I'm assuming by how long it's taken for the results to come through that the officials have been making sure that the national record is all certified and they've ticked all the boxes and all that. So that would explain why it took a while to come through.
Well, I've just tweeted about it, so hopefully it's right. It's out there. And I tell you what, Zoe Hobbs is out there. She's turned up. I heard from Livy at the Christchurch International Track Meet that she was in good condition. She was ready to run, but she didn't want to start in Melbourne too early, wanted to build into these national championships. She's got a full calendar this year. You know, she had her first appearance in the Diamond Leagues last year.
Yeah.
You know, for her to be on that stage, for her to perform, this is very exciting.
Very exciting, and I'm worried because I'm already starting to lose my voice this early in the morning. That's how exciting it is. But
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
It's definitely a marathon. As we see Percy Maka in the under-20 discus. And so standings at the moment in this discus, we're into round 3 now. We've got 6 competitors lining up. And Harrison McGregor is in the lead, remains in the lead with that 46.48 that he threw in round 3. And then it's only 10 centimetres back to Percy Maka with a 46.38. Blessing Sefor is sitting only 32 centimetres behind at 46.06. So very, very close. As we see Harrison McGregor, our competition leader. So we've had the 200 metre record go down at the ITM with Rosie Elliott and Georgia Hulls beating it. Unfortunately for Georgia, Rosie was just in front of her, but they kind of pushed each other to that new national record. We've had the 100 metres broken just now. Is it too much to ask that we could have the 1, 2 and 4 broken potentially in the same summer?
Hayden, it is absolutely not too much to ask. And when I interviewed Rosie Elliott after that 200 metre race, she said, well, that was not the national record in the event I was going after. So she's got that record of Kim Robinson's firmly in her sights. I was speaking on SENZ in the week with Stephen Donald and Kimberly Downs, and they said to me, is this the greatest time for New Zealand women's sprinting? And I said, what you've just said around the national record holders currently competing, there is no greater time now than this right here. And it's shown this morning. Zoe Hobbs turning up, also saying, hey, national championships matter to me.
Yep.
And they matter to me that I show up here in a good shape and ready to run fast. And absolutely, to answer your question, it is not too much to expect from Rosie Elliott, and I know she'll be motivated by that performance of Zoe Hobbs this morning.
So we've got the women's under-16 javelin going on. That's Sarah Evans from Otago. And add to that mix Portia Bing, who broke the 400 metres hurdles record this time last year at the national champs. So, you know, we've got potential for within a 12-month period for, you know, all but one of the sprint medals to go down. Can we get a 100 hurdles sprint medal down? But yeah, absolutely incredible scenes here at Newtown Park. If you've just joined the coverage, you'll want to skip back and watch that first heat of the senior women's, because we have a new national record, 11:07. That national record it needs to be written in pencil, really, because it keeps getting rubbed out and replaced by Zoe Hobbs, as she's, in the space of about 14 months, five times breaking it, something like that.
And this is what happens, you know, Hayden, when you have a performance and it lifts the standard overall. And I think that we can thank Zoe Hobbs, we can thank her team for providing that inspiration to other people, but actually those other sprinters have lifted their game too.
Yeah.
And that's exciting for the future of women's sprinting. It's exciting for the men's, on the men's side as well, with the likes of Eddie and particularly Tian. We'll see Tian here in the national championships, as we've seen this morning in the heats, looking good. But it all bodes well, and what I would like to see is them all to join up and run a really fast relay, because that would be a record I'd be here to see.
Yeah. That would surely be a shoo-in, based on like you say, the golden age of women's sprinting is here right now. And over in the discus circle, we've got Blessing Sefor lining up. He's sitting in third place at the moment with a 46.06, and it's a big old log jam because there's only 42 centimetres between him and first place Harrison McGregor. So very, very tight in those medal positions with our discus boys. So next up on the track, after all the action we've had in the 100 metres, will be the under-16 men's 800 metre final, and that's set to kick off in a few minutes. They are going through their strides at the moment. And we have the under-16s, under-18s, 800 metres finals, and then two events that I'm really looking forward to, the men's and women's 100 metre para final. And that's going to be a lot of drama. Big field, particularly in the women's field. We've got 8 athletes lining up in that, and I can't wait to see how they unfold as we work out the percentages of each of the classifications. Remember, it's not the first over the line for the para events. It is the how your time is ranked according to the world record. And then around midday, we've got a bunch of 4x400 finals, under 16 and under 18. So that'll take us through the morning session. But for now, all eyes on the field. We've got the women's under 16 javelin going on. We've got Carmen Maritz, Hannah McManus, Charlotte Blake, Sarah Evans, Ellie Beaver, Hayley Coppins. So those 6 athletes taking part in the early stages in this under 16 women's javelin.
Yeah, they're just warming up out there, getting a feel for the conditions, getting their run-ups set. And great to see the under 16 category in action at the National Track and Field Champs, the Jennian Homes National Track and Field Champs. And for 7 years, Jennian Homes has supported Athletics New Zealand as the naming partner for the Track and Field Championships. We are so grateful for their ongoing support and partnership, and Jennian Homes is proud to be supporting young Kiwis in their efforts to excel in sport while continuing the long Jennian track record of community support. Over at the triple jump, that's underway. That's the under-16s. That's Hunter Lyford from Hawke's Bay, Gisborne. Just round one over there at the triple jump.
So this under 16 800 metres is a straight final. We've got Christian Geldenhuis from Auckland, Quinn Moss from Auckland, Quinn Winwood from Auckland, Henry Sevier from Canterbury, Justin Cunningham from Manawatu Wanganui, Charlie Ford from Southland, Jacob Vorkamp from Southland, Aidan Gailey from Taranaki, Vaughan Murray from Waikato Bay Plenty, George Gray from Wellington, Bernard Stallard from Wellington, and Blake Miskell also from Wellington. So big old field as they come in, merge all together. Now this is where things can get tricky. You can see one of our Wellington athletes just going wide to stay out of trouble. Good move from him to get a bit of a clear runway. As you can see, the others all jostling for position. I'm sure there's spikes hitting shins and elbows digging into each other. Everyone's trying to get onto that pole, run their inside line, the shortest line to the finish. But at the moment, it's our Wellington athlete, George Gray, out the front, leading the way in this big field of boys in the under 16 800 metre final. So they take the bell in about 64 seconds. So the pace not electric, as you can see by athletes having to run out in lane 3. George Gray from Wellington still right up the front. One of our Southland athletes, potentially Charlie Ford, just coming onto his shoulder now, and also the Auckland athlete just on his shoulder. So a bit of a change of lead up the front, but a lot of guys lining up with 200 metres to go in this final in the under 16. So it's Southland 1, Auckland 2, just moving up past the Southlander. So it's Quinn Moss from Auckland who's just getting pushed into third place as the Wellingtonian. Pulling away now. This is a big move from Blake Miskell. He's going to be the champion in the under 16s. The Canterbury athlete Henry Sevier will pick up second place and very close on the line, third. But Blake Miskell, he had to do a bit of work on that top bend. He got into the lead, and then he knows this track very well, used that friendly tailwind that has blown Zoe Hobbs to a national record. It blew him to a national title in the under 16s today. So Blake Miskell, and look how close it was for these minor medals. That was about a 60-second last lap as well for Blake Miskell. Henry Sevier in second, just a second behind, and the officials are up working out who got third, and I think it was Quinn Moss who did a lot of work on that back straight to come into the lead, and confirmation it is Quinn Moss who will pick up the bronze medal in the under 16s. As we turn our attention back to the triple jump.
And it's Elliot Willis there from Taranaki on the runway. Early stages of the under 18 triple jump. Elliot Willis, Taranaki. And we see the white flag go up. Got some advice there from Ed Fern, one of New Zealand's jumps coaches. What a morning it has been so far, and we have got so much more to come.
Yeah, I was just trying to scan through the results to see if we've had the official results come through from Livy. Still not come through, so no doubt they're going through their checks and balances to get it ratified or certified. We've got great officials here who do a lot of hard work all weekend long, and they get particularly excited when there's a record.
Yeah, it's so cool actually.
Yeah.
And just a big shout out to the officials. You know, all volunteers. So many volunteers here this weekend. You know, here to make a difference in many athletes' lives. So, whakatau tele lava to all the officials, and thank you for giving up your time to support our sports, support our athletes, and provide a platform for them to perform at the Jennian Holmes National Track and Field Championships.
Yeah, so that national record we are talking about was Zoe Hobbs running 11:07, wind legal time in the 100 metres, and of course that's a new Oceania record as well, so area record.
Goodness
Love
me.
it when we get
Hayden,
something over the
things
Aussies,
I
right?
love to see. And I think getting that auto qualifier for Zoe is huge as well, because it just takes the weight off trying to chase qualifying performances. You know, it's done now. Now she can map out her campaign, and hopefully we see her in a number of Diamond League events throughout the 2023 season as she builds to Budapest, but also eyes on the big one next year, the Paris 2024 Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we were talking about the depth of sprinting in New Zealand, but wouldn't it be great if we had multiple sprinters in Paris next year?
Yep. Black singlet and all the sprints, please. That's what we want to see. Okay, here's the start list for the under-16s, 800 metres. In lane one, we've got Amelia Henstock, then Amy Towers, Abby O'Boyle, Imogen Barlow, Isla Tilbury, Nina Chalmers, Paige Dobson, and Hannah McManus. So these athletes coming back from their heats yesterday.
Hayden, I think people are listening to your tips actually, because I've seen a number of spectators in the stand here at Newtown Park. It's a lovely morning, and they're on the Athletic Live, live.athletic.net, searching for live results, and it's great to see. The link is actually in the YouTube
Description, yep, right below your screen, so just scroll on down, you can hit that link. LeBron Cosgrave in the triple jump. Great name for a jumper. LeBron. You'd expect him to have some good springs.
You'd hope for good hops, wouldn't you? Great name.
Great name. So just waiting for this final of the under-16s 800 metres to get underway as the sun comes out. And it's feeling pretty summery, isn't it? I'm pleased with this. The forecast for the next couple of days isn't flash. But we will make hay while the sun shines, because the sun is shining and there's very little wind here at Newtown Park. So this is a rare treat indeed. As someone who did most of his track running at this track, usually there's a circular wind that goes in the opposite direction you're running. That's usually how it happens. The northerly swoops in,
Yeah.
you're running anti-clockwise and the wind goes clockwise. It's amazing engineering, the civil engineering, just to make training that extra little bit harder.
I have to say, this is why you don't run past the finish line, Hayden, actually. And even though I did do 800 metres in the heptathlon, I actually never did a heptathlon here. So ran a few 200s in my time. If you do you can get some really nice 200 wins here, actually.
Yeah.
It'll be good for Georgia Hills tomorrow. And the likes, chasing qualifying times.
Well, it's going to be southerly for most of tomorrow and the next day.
I'm changing the forecast, actually.
Well, southerly's good for this track, I've found.
Okay.
In terms of overall wind around the track, it's the northerly that tends to be a bit nasty for the distance runners who run multiple laps.
Okay.
Yeah, you might be correct with the 200 anyway.
Anyway, We'll talk about more. We'll talk more about that, but I just will update you on the women's high jump, the under-18 results from this morning. First, from Wellington, Naomi Waite in a jump of 173, a great clearance this morning. Second place, Mia DeJager, 170, and third, Amber Tro, 166.
So we're away in the under-16s, 800 metres. This is the final. We've got 8 athletes lined up. Henstock on the inside, then Towers, O'Boyle, Barlow, Tilbury, Chalmers, Dobson, and McManus. How is this going to unfold as they come off the stagger? They begin to merge, and we saw in the final of the under-16 boys, we really hit some serious traffic situation about this stage in the race. And same here, the pace has certainly dropped. We can see that bunching, athletes getting pushed out the back, having to come round the outside into lane 2 or 3 onto the second bend. It looks like our 2 Auckland athletes leading the way at the moment. And I believe that is Nina Chalmers out in the front alongside Imogen Barlow. So Nina Chalmers and Imogen Barlow doing the early leading, and then it's Abby O'Boyle from Southland just on the outside of them. So those 3, and then a big old bunch as they go through to get the bell at 107. Nina Chalmers leading, Imogen Barlow just on her shoulder. So Nina Chalmers, she's had a pretty clear runway at this early stage in the competition. And Imogen just having to run a little bit wider, so we'll have to wait and see if those extra metres takes a toll. But just as I say that, Imogen hits the lead on the back straight, trying to keep in contact with them as our Southland athlete Abby O'Boyle. But it is Imogen Barlow leading from Nina Chalmers, and look at this turn of pace from Imogen Barlow, getting those arms pumping right up onto her toes there. A good little battle for that 4th place, but it looks like the 1, 2, 3 has been decided as Imogen Barlow takes a little look over her shoulder. She steams away down the track here at Newtown Park. She's going to take the applause as she takes her first under-16 New Zealand 800 metre title. In second place, Nina Chalmers will be rewarded for all that early hard work, and our Southland athlete will go home with the bronze medal, Abby O'Boyle, in third place. Great scenes.
Great front running there by Imogen. She has a personal best of 2:14.63, and she's broken that. 2:14.23 we're seeing, so fantastic front running by Imogen.
And that's a good time in the under-16 ranks. Really, really good. We talk about the 2:10 kind of being a magic number for senior women to dip under. So to get within cooey of that is really promising signs. So great running from Imogen.
And taking the gold medal in our national champion from Wellington with a throw of 51.13 metres, Elizabeth Hewitt.
So we're just seeing the medal ceremonially for the women's hammer throw, the under-20 this morning. The gold medal was to Elizabeth Hewitt, 51.13. So congratulations to Elizabeth and all those who shared the podium this morning, and the other competitors, 11 in the field. So great to see the depth there in the women's hammer.
Nina Chalmers from second at 2:16.47.
So the under-16 Javelin is underway, and if you're tuning into live.athletic.net and trying to see the updated results, we are being told that they seem to be frozen at the moment, so apologies that they're not coming through quite yet, but often they get stuck and then they'll all come through all at once, so keep refreshing those results as they come through. Now we've got the men's under-18 800 metres, and we've got Hamish Meacham just standing by to jump in. So we'll bring him in to provide some expert comments in these 800 metre finals, and also as we gear up towards the the 100-metre paras.
Pretty oversold me, Hayden, by saying expert comments, but I'll certainly bring some comments.
Well,
so.
I know that you're a faster 800-metre runner than I was in my time, so you're more expert than I was.
Thanks for saying that, Hayden. 155.35 set in Hamilton in 1999. Still burned into my memory because Ben Ruth absolutely annihilated me in the last 100 metres and still not quite forgiven him. That's okay. We live and we learn. We get on. This is an exciting race turning up here. Under 18 800-metre final. There's some very good athletes who missed out on this final. I noted the National Junior Secondary Schools 800-metre champion Connell McLean out of Auckland just got pipped and didn't make it through as one of the fastest, one of the non-automatic qualifiers. So really good quality field. A couple of guys around that 153 mark, including James Trathon out of Pakuranga Athletic Club, who I think is I would say a bit of an early favourite going into this, but it's a pretty strong field all around. There we see 737 James McClay. No, sorry, that is Ben Brunner out of Wellington with the headband on. One of my pet peeves there right away, Hayden. I notice he's wearing tights with shorts on top. Make a choice. Either wear the tights or wear the shorts. Don't wear both. But
so great to have Hamish and expert running advice and also fashion advice.
Can't help myself, can I, Hayden?
Multi-talented. Yeah, it's a tough call. You do get those shorts that come the double. They've got both. They have the tights all built in. So you're not a fan of those?
Those are more for joggers, aren't they?
Okay, more of a jogger short.
Yeah.
Which you're not including yourself in this stage in your running career?
I don't jog. I don't have a running career anymore. We see Mike Ritchie, well-known coach from Wellington, just doling out some advice there over at the junior men's long jump. Mike Ritchie has got a very busy weekend. You see he's got the microphone in his ear because he's the grounds kind of technical leader. Saw him out putting together the high jump yesterday, fixing various things around the grounds. So great to have his technical expertise.
Also something I'm loving is having some tunes going between track events and getting the atmosphere going. So there's the start list. There's the results, from the under-16 women, 800 metres. Abby O'Boyle taking that out. Well, I'm not sure if those times correct.
Don't seem quite right, but anyway, it was Abby O'Boyle, followed by Imogen Barlow out of the Owairaka Club and Paige Dobson of Hawke's Bay Gisborne. Really stoked to see Imogen Barlow come through and grab that silver. She was actually a subject for a little run, jump, throw video we did a few years ago. So she's been in the sport a long time, come through the Owairaka system where they emphasise long-term athlete development and well-rounded approach. So she's come from a background of doing all sorts of events, including the jumps and the throws, but she's specialised down to be a very good middle distance runner. So great to see. It was not that many years ago, Hayden, we essentially saw no athletes from the Owairaka Club at these national championships, and now they're setting year on year a really strong contingent and some great youngsters coming through. So well done, Imogen Barlow. Got some very nervous under-18 men getting ready to be under starters orders here.
Now last year this event was taken out by James Ford, who went on to have a great final year at school, taking out the New Zealand Secondary Schools title and also the 400 title, and then almost winning in a very dramatic finish for the 4x400 at the New Zealand Secondaries. So he's moved up an age group, so whoever wins this will be the new winner. And definitely keep an eye on the middle of your track there in lanes 3, 4, 5. That's typically where we'll see the action.
Yeah, so what we've got, James Stratham with a personal best of 153.04. He leads the national rankings so far. Angus Siver, who's out of Canterbury, he's also got a 154 to his name, 154.23. And Cooper Whiteman in lane 5, also another Cantabrian, 154.67. There's another couple of athletes not far behind them, including Bruno from Wellington. So it should be very exciting stuff. It'll be interesting to see who takes out the pace. The heats were a little bit of a cagey affair yesterday, I'll say, Hayden. The guys generally going out in about 62 seconds for the first lap. I don't think we'll see that today.
Yeah. Yep, you've got to think with the quality of this field, you want to get away nice and quick to fancy your chances to spread out this field. So here they are, the under-18 men's final in the 800 metres. They head into this Newtown Park track in lanes. And now they will see a little marker on the track. That's their signal that you're okay to head into lane 1 if you can make it. And a lot of argy-bargy as we come into that first merger. James McLeay from Southland looking right at the front there. But it's 4 of them all lining up. Look at that. It's so close. And it looks like it's maybe even getting a bit tactical early on. Cooper Whiteman from Canterbury going to the front. Looks like James Tratham there from Pakuranga just on the inside of him. Angus Sevier, the other Cantabrian, just riding the shoulder of James.
Yeah, it'll be a question of when James Tratham from Pakuranga wants to make his move. Going through 57, 58, not the fastest, but honest enough. They'll come home a little quicker, I imagine, Hayden.
So Cooper Whiteman at the front with a clean runway in front of him, but a lot of boys lining up behind him. It is 2 by 2 as they come onto the back straight. On the outside is James Tratham. Looks like he's trying to make a bit of a move into the lead, but it's not really it's too early to make a push for home from this way out. We've still got 200 metres to go. How are we looking, Hamish?
Yeah, looking pretty good. They've run about 29 for that 200. Tratham is pushed out from home. The 2 Cantabrians, they're not going to give up that easy, Hayden. Into the home straight. Here comes James Tratham from Pakuranga.
James Tratham, he's up on his toes, moving away from the field. And big battle here for bronze, but James Tratham holding on for the national title, and a big finish here from the Southlander as well. James Tratham takes it in second place, I think, just tipping at the line. James McLeay, how exciting was that last 100 metres?
Look at that celebration. Tratham absolutely stoked. He's been on the scene for a long, long time, but this is his first major win, and he is absolutely stoked. Great running, very strong finish, James Tratham out of Pakuranga, and coming from absolutely nowhere, James McLeay from Southland just dips, gets him on the line. Canterbury 3 and 4.
Time's coming through, 1:53.72 for James Tratham, so that's quick off what wasn't a super fast, particularly first 200. It got very tactical, and look what that means to James Tratham. He's absolutely exhausted, but he's smiling, and that is a happy feeling when you become a national champion. Not that I know, but I've certainly thought about it, thought about the idea.
Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic running. Little bit cagey in that first 400, you know, but that's not unusual in championship racing, as you'll know, Hayden. But very impressive, James Tratham. Coached very well by his dad, Mike Tratham, who has the squads running out of the Pakuranga Athletic Club, our biggest club in New Zealand.
That right?
Yes,
Wow.
The home of at the Yvette Williams track. They've got their own synthetic track there out in Pakuranga. So they've got a fantastic setup, and look at that celebration. Here comes Dad and Coach, gets the hug. Oh, that's great to see.
Special moment. So zoom in on that little moment. That's really cool.
Yeah, they're a pretty cool family. So yeah, makes me happy to see that.
Great
really
job
good.
from our crew at the stream shop, capturing the emotion, capturing the drama, and look, it's only 11:30 on day 2 of a 4-day meet, and we've just had so much emotion, so much drama already.
Yep, I tell you, a couple of things we might have missed out on. I don't know if you got this, apologies if you did, but Veronica Pereira in Heat 2 of that women's 100 metres, a new national record for Singapore.
Oh, wow.
At 11.46.
Oh,
so
epic.
Her and her coach have come over from Singapore, spending some time alongside James Mortimer and his squad in Auckland. She's a very well-performed athlete, made the semi-finals at the Commonwealth Games, and is a gold medalist from the Southeast Asian Games, but takes 0.02 of her national record.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, kia ora, everyone, to our Singapore listeners. It's probably very early in the morning over there, so great to have you tuned in. And well done for a new national women's record.
Yeah, fantastic. And also a national New Zealand record over in the para women's long jump. Young Paddy Walsh out of Auckland jumping out to 4.16 metres, which is a new T64 national record in only her third ever long jump. So not too bad.
Wow, that's amazing. Is this one of your athletes?
Oh, it is. It is a bit biased. Yeah. So I was over there doing a bit of sneaky coaching before I snuck up. We've got a women's 800 and the action's still ongoing. Is this the men's 18 long jump, I believe?
Yep. Under 16 triple.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Yep. Yes. Yeah, we had a great start to the morning yesterday with young Rico Putama from Wellington. Within the space of an hour, winning the under-16 men's shot put and then going over and winning the men's high jump on countback.
Wow.
So keep an eye out for Rico Putama from Wellington through the rest of the weekend. He says he's doing at least 2 more events.
And that was Ty Gonzalez just running through that one. Didn't quite get the run up to his liking. Now on the track, we have the women's under-18 final in the 800 metres. This is set to be a good one. There's some very speedy girls coming through the 800 metre ranks, and a little bit of a sign of things to come. Tori Peters doing some caretaking on the runway for the Javelin. National record holder in this event who set the national record at the national champs last year. So can she do that again? And I've got a little internal competition that I want to see. There's the summary of the results. James Trathon taking out the under-18s, James McLeay in second, and then Angus Sevier hanging on for a well-deserved bronze medal.
Look at that, all 8 finalists under 2 minutes. Pretty good running for under-18s. These kids these days are pretty rapid, Hayden.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the shoes, right?
That's what everyone who's now retired from running says, and everyone who's still running says, the shoes are cool, but it's anyway. So the little challenge that I want to see is percentage of national record. Tori Peters versus Connor Bell, both national record holders recently in their own events, and that's the little competition across the throws that I want to see. We'll come up with some sort of award that we can give them at the end of the weekend.
I'll one-up you on that. My para-athletes want to go into the mix in the classics and be judged against their able-bodied peers on percentage of world records.
Ooh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
that's a cool twist.
Bad. Obviously, our para-athletes, we've got a pretty good crew, often scoring in the 90% and above. So, the equivalent of that, Zoe's about 95% now of the world record.
That's good to know.
So, yeah.
All right, so here is the final in the under-18s women's 800 metres. In the inside lane, we've got Amy Sheenan, then beside her Amelia Clark, Kate Borton, Holly Fawcett, Samantha Leigh-Shells, Poppy Healy, Layla Daniels, and Bryn Gordon. So 4 Aucklanders, 2 Cantabs, 1 Waikato Bay of Plenty athlete, and 1 Wellingtonian running on her home track.
Fantastic looking field in this women's under-18 800 metre final. All successfully navigated through the heats yesterday.
One lane to keep a close eye on is lane 5, Samantha Leigh-Shells. She picked up bronze in this event last year, so she'd love to change the colour of the medal this year.
Yeah, and Holly Fawcett from Waikato Bay Plenty, personal best of 2:12. So I would say, as always, those lanes 3, 4, 5, 6, quality tends to congregate towards the middle. Of course, Poppy Healy, you've mentioned, out of Wellington, hometown track, hometown advantage perhaps could come into play. Do you think that factors in, Hayden, if you're a hometown athlete at a national championship?
I think we've definitely seen it in the past. Hawke's Bay Gisborne athletes did pretty well the last couple of years. Before that, Canterbury down in Napunawai. So I definitely think there is that hometown anticipation building up to the event, and then having the family and the crowd behind you.
Yeah, the crowd has been absolutely fantastic here at Newtown Park. Very good at recognising and acknowledging all athletes, but particularly when Wellington athletes go well.
And there's something about not needing to worry about hotels and rides to the track, you know, knowing where to park, you know, all these little things that come into play. Just, it's a lot more predictable as we get into the start of the under-18 women's 800-metre final. We've got Sheenan in lane 1, then Clark, Borton, Fawcett, Lachelles, Healy, Daniels and Gordon on the outside. Looks like Samantha Lachelles has gone out very strong out there in lane 5. Inside of her, the Aucklander, Kate Borton, also running pretty strong, but straight to the front. Ooh. Samantha Lachelles, she's come here to play.
Good pace early, Hayden, going through in unofficially 30 seconds, maybe a tick quicker. Very good.
Yeah, impressive. So Kate Borton just staying with her. The only one looking like she wants to stay, so it's going to be a bit of a battle for that bronze medal. It looks like the Waikato Bay of Plenty athlete Holly Fawcett is back there in third, but at the moment, big, strong start from Samantha Lachelles. She came here with a game plan, and 400 metres into it, how's she feeling? Going to get the bell at 61, 62 seconds, so that's a good, strong start. Can she hang on?
Fantastic to see Kate Borton hanging on there, taking advantage of the strong pace from Samantha Lachelles. Lachelles is the quickest in the field by over 2 seconds, showing her quality here, Hayden.
62 seconds for that first 400. Is she going to pay for it? We know how hard that second lap is of the 800.
Yeah, and here comes the other Waikato Bay of Plenty athlete, Holly Fawcett, now passing Kate Borton into second. Can she make up any ground on Samantha Lachelles?
200 metres to go now for Samantha Lachelles. How are those legs feeling? Little look over the shoulder. She looks pretty comfy to me. As the legs, just as I say that, the legs just start to tire a little. The stride starts to shorten. Will we see a big resurgence from Holly Fawcett? Can she make up this 10, 12 metre deficit? Can Holly pull past? Can Samantha Lachelles hold on? Samantha's got 60 metres to go to get that national record after the strong start. She looks over the shoulder. One more time. She's just got 20 metres to run. Holly Fawcett, can she come back? It is Samantha Lachelles. Hangs on. What a tough race that was. I could smell the acidosis from up here in the grandstand.
Yeah, Holly Fawcett in second, and the Wellingtonian Poppy Healy comes through for a very well-deserved bronze medal. But that last 100, Hayden, was an absolute death march, because Samantha Lachelles went out in 62 seconds, said catch me if you can. They couldn't today. Very brave front running from the Cantabrian Samantha Lachelles. Holly Fawcett second. Poppy Healy, the Wellingtonian, a well-deserved bronze medal. A tactical race coming through very strong in that last 100.
Yeah, great to see from Poppy. You know, I didn't mention her name throughout the entire race, so she just stayed hidden. She conserved and really used that strength towards the end. But Samantha Lachelles, she came with a plan, and it's paid off. She's probably sort of second-guessing the wisdom of that plan now, but it worked. A win is a win. A national title is very epic.
So if you are hearing us, maybe experiencing a few technical difficulties.
We have a few minutes on the track program before the first of the Paralympic finals, scheduled 11:45. The circus has developed from a successful coaching and is in the field on the way to Vegas.
So there we see Samantha Lachelles coming in to see her coach Angie Petty, who will be racing shortly in the senior women's 800 metre final, which turned into a straight 800. You can see how much pain she had to go through to claim that national title, but claim it she did, and she will feel very happy about that. That was a gutsy last 200 metres. She looked over her shoulder probably 4 or 5 times in that final 200.
Yep. And we get to switch now back to a little bit of the action in the men's under-16 triple jump. The athletes from Taranaki on the runway, ready to go. We'll try and update you with some of the results.
Yeah, this is Cody McPhail. So we're just getting our Wi-Fi back on board here, so we'll be able to...
Standing so far, it's Elliot Wills from Taranaki, leading with a best of 12.14 metres, and that is Elliot Wills on the runway now. We've got a field for the Para 100, but they're not out on the track just yet, so we'll stay with the action in this men's under-16 triple jump, where Elliot Wills from Taranaki is on the runway, leading the competition at 12.14 metres. Second is LeBron Cosgrave from Wellington with a best of 11.71, followed by Hunter Lyford from Hawke's Bay Gisborne at 11.21. Just waiting for the officials to give him the all clear. The wind coming down. We're going to a medal ceremony here, the women's under-20 long jump. Welcome into the booth, Sarah. How have you been, Sarah?
I've been great, actually.
Good, fantastic.
Thank
That's a
you,
good
Hamish.
answer. I like it.
Well, to be honest, I didn't expect to have such an adrenaline spike in the first session of day 2.
I know, pretty amazing.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it, and I hope everyone else is as we build through these days of the Jennian Homes Track and Field Championships.
Yeah, pretty special stuff so far today, as we see from Otago, Bernice Collins taking the gold medal in her ceremony. Great to see these athletes getting their time in the limelight. A little bit of a pause for mum and dad to take some photos. So Bernice Collins taking the gold from Bernice Cullen, taking the gold from Hannah Collins of Canterbury and Emily Jackson, also of Canterbury. And incidentally, Hannah Collins and Emily Jackson teammates jumped the exact same distance, 5.31. Would have been separated by their second best jump. Yeah, and obviously you're referring to that amazing 100-metre run by Zoe Hobbs. That's got you really pumped up. Sarah?
Oh, it's jumping up and down. I think the people around me were thinking, what the heck is going on? What she's jumping up and down for?
Yeah.
But goodness me, what a start. And the 100-metre heats, as we look at the competitors warming up for the senior women's javelin. That's Tori Peters in the blue there. National record holder. Defending national champion. She threw the national record at the national championships last year in the Hawke's Bay, and she's looking for some valuable World Athletics ranking points on the road to Budapest, and it'll be exciting to see what she can do at Newtown Park very shortly.
Yeah, absolutely, as we see footage again of Elliot Wills on the runway, waiting to undertake what will be his 5th jump. So he's the last to jump, the 5th round of this men's under-16 triple jump. We do also have our Para 100-metre athletes warming up, mixed classification Para 100 metres, which promises to be exciting. I was up in the warm-up area, Sarah, when Zoe broke that record, and we heard the crowd. We couldn't hear the announcer, but we heard the crowd go absolutely mad, and everyone was looking around, and then people, Zoe broke the record, Zoe. And the celebration in that warm-up area, which is a testament not only to how much everyone loves the sport, but Zoe's actually a really beloved character in our sport. Quite a popular athlete, well-known, well-liked and respected amongst her competitors.
And I think it's about understanding what that means and how hard that, every one of these athletes who attends National Track and Field Championships, who does athletics, knows that this sport is unrelenting, and you've got to celebrate, the national records, the personal bests, and regardless of, if you're on the road to Budapest or you're on the road to the Commonwealth Youth Championships, if you're doing a personal best, that is what we want to see.
And here we go, the field for the men's 100-metre para, under-20 and open. Zachary Allbell in lane 2 at T35. Joshua Taylor at T20 in 3. Joe Smith out of Auckland at T37 and 4. Tamahi Wiripa, T37 in lane 5. Mitchell Joint out of Auckland, a T64 single leg amputee. Jackson Woolley in 7 out of Waikato Bay of Plenty, a T38. And Jaden Mulvold, the wheelchair competitor competing for Athletics Auckland, he's a T54. So, as always, Sarah, mixed classification. They're all racing together. It'll be a competitive race, no doubt, but for those tuning in at home, the medals are actually decided on percentage of world records. So, however close you get to your respective world records, that's how we judge how you finish in the field. So, typically the top medalists here will be somewhere in the 90% or above range, which is pretty good for some contests. Someone like Tian Wellington is 91% of world record. You'll be lucky to get a medal today at 91%. So these guys and girls are pretty good that we're about to watch in these para events. So it should be very exciting.
You've been involved in the para program, Hamish. Now, who are you looking out for in this field?
I'll put my cards on the table. I coach two of these athletes, and I'm the former coach of another, Jackson, who's moved down to Tauranga. So we've got...
So who are your athletes then?
Yeah,
coach?
So Mitchell Joint and Joe Smith from Auckland. So you see Mitchell there, the single leg amputee. There's Zach Orbell, coached by Alan McDonald. Very good. So the field is basically a bit of a mix. Mitch Joint, the single leg amputee, T64, is probably the most experienced. He's been to a World Championships before. The rest of the field is in that space where they're trying to qualify for either the upcoming World Championships in Paris or future World Championships. So particularly keep your eye out for Joe Smith in lane 3. Jackson Woolley in lane 6 is a very good starter from the Waikato. And watch for Mitch Joint to hopefully come through fast at the end. Here we go. Should be exciting stuff, Sarah. Away safely. Joe Smith, a very good start. Alongside Jackson Woolley. Here comes Mitch Joint. 80 metres to go. Great max velocity from Mitch Joint. Breaks the tape. Joe Smith, his teammate, second across the line. We'll see what the official results pop up. We'll be able to tell how happy they are with those times. So Mitchell Joint 11.95 in first, not too bad. That's one of the few times Mitch has been under 12 seconds, the 200 metre specialist. Joe Smith 12.38, there or thereabouts. He'll be relatively happy with that. Just to let you know, Sarah, the internet's gone down on these ones. So Jackson Woolley, the young Jackson Woolley, an under-20 athlete, 12.98. And Tamahiri Wiripa, the T37, a new athlete out of Hawke's Bay, 13.29. Very good running. We'll see where the percentages land for these athletes. But until then, we'll turn our attention to a very competitive women's race, including Paralympian Anna Stephen in lane 5 and some Paralympic medalist Danielle Atkinson in lane 3. So very exciting stuff. Do you want to run us through the field, Sarah?
Yeah, sure. It's this is the women's 100 metre para under 20 and senior start list. Sasha Aldazhani from Taranaki.
Correct.
Jenna Hill from Auckland. Waikato Bay of Plenty, Danielle Aitchison, as we said, Paralympic medalist. Katie Welsh from Auckland in lane 4. In lane 5, Anna Stevens, lane 6. Shannon Murphy, apologies, Shannon. Lane 7, Gabriel Wright, and lane 8, Sarah James from Canterbury. Rounding out the field, this is an exciting one. You know, Danielle, big results in Tokyo. They're really trying to build with her coach Alan McDonald into Paris World Championships for IPC this year, and then on to the Paralympics this year, along with Anna Stephen.
Yeah, look, Danielle Atchison is a special talent. She has the potential to go on and be... She won 2 medals, I think, at Tokyo. She has the potential to be a multiple gold medalist. She is Very, very good. She's got a lot of talent. Alan McDonald's taking a very patient, long-term approach, but hopefully that talent will really start to reveal itself in the next couple of years. I believe she can be dominant in her classification.
I've been really impressed with Danielle. I see her quite often at their high-performance sport training base in Cambridge at the Advantage-Dome there, where she works alongside her strength and conditioning coach, George Wardell, and she always shows up. She's always got a smile. She always plays with my kids, actually.
Yep.
And, you know, she's hungry to get better, to make those differences that will see her take that next level up, as you've said.
Yeah. See some image there of Gina Hill getting some assistance from given Gina's classification, she's allowed to have an assistant in to help her out, set up her blocks, which is fantastic. A couple of very good wheelchair athletes there, Gabrielle Wright and Sarah James. Gabrielle Wright from Auckland, Sarah James from Canterbury. Sarah James recently has just smashed a whole bunch of New Zealand records over in Canberra, which is very, very cool. Anna Stephen is the athlete we probably need to spend a little bit of time talking about. 267 out of Auckland, the taller of the two single leg amputees. She stuck in as a bit of a late call-up to the Tokyo Paralympics, ran very, very well in that 200-metre final, broke her national record, really, really proved that she deserved to be there. And then heartbreakingly, I don't know if you saw this, Sarah, but false started in the 100, which was really, really tough. She's bounced back from that, since ran a really good time, 28 seconds in Tauranga, at the ITM Classic in Canterbury, so breaking 29 for the first time. So she's really excited about these championships.
Can you talk to us, Hamish, a bit about, in athletics we have an integrated power program. How important is that for the Paralympic athletes?
It's hugely important. So they really appreciate it. So I guess I'll go all the way back. Athletics has a long history of being integrated. So I grew up in the Frankton Club in Hamilton and was lucky enough to, just from day one as part of my athletics journey, I was training alongside athletes in wheelchairs and missing various limbs, and it would just always seem normal. So we've got a really, really long history of being integrated. Of all of the para sports, it probably gives us a bit of a competitive advantage, just the fact that we are so integrated. We have integrated squads. Myself as a coach, my squad is about 50-50, para athletes and able-bodied athletes, and you know, those able-bodied athletes are pretty blooming good as well. And, you know, they actually learn from each other. So, you know, learning high-performance behaviours from an athlete like Mitch, who's been to a World Championships, and, yeah.
So, if you're a young para-athlete out there and you're watching, what's your advice to them of how to get involved in athletics, or any sport, actually?
Yeah, hit us up. Look, a great starting point can be your local para-fed, because there's lots of fantastic para-sport opportunities out there. We'd love you to try para-athletics, obviously, but stopping by and linking up with your local para-fed can be a great way to try lots of different sports, which of course we really encourage for all athletes, not just para-athletes. But if you've got a local athletics club that you're aware of close by, give them a ring. Pop on down and just give it a try. Really, you know, depending on the type of impairment you have, there can be some special equipment that is required, but it's pretty easy to work with a local para-fed and source that. So, yeah, reach out either to your local club, to your local para-fed, or you can even contact us directly at Athletics New Zealand. We'd love to help. We love to see new para-athletes getting involved. Numbers are exploding currently. Thank you to Raylene Bates. He's doing some fantastic work in our community. So we see some of our junior throwers receiving their medals. Great to see.
And from memory, that's Susie Henley, who threw 14.88, I believe. My memory serves me right this morning. In the shot put, it was a great competition, and great to see those athletes out there on the dais receiving their medals.
Fantastic. We've got the Hawke's Bay Gisborne athletes in the long triple jump. I keep making that mistake. And he is getting better and better every round.
I want him to go forward more
rather
than up.
It's that middle phase. But
well, it's all the phases, and it's how you set yourself up into the board to transfer that horizontal speed through the board through each phase of the triple jump. Not easy.
No.
And you've got 3 opportunities to get it right.
Now, look, we're going to see a great race here because even though they're in different classifications, across the middle, Danielle Atchison, Paddy Walsh, and Anna Stephen are actually all very close in time. Anna Stephen's a bit younger in the middle there, 2:93 out of Auckland, Anna Stephen. Shannon Murphy, 2:19. She's a very good starter, but this is actually going to be a very close race. The two wheelchair athletes, so all of these athletes have the ability to push each other along a little bit. So, yeah. Hayden Sherman bringing the good stuff. You can have that, Hayden. You need it. This is amazing. Service with a smile from Hayden Sherman.
Now, Hamish, for those of our viewers at home, what is your actual role with Athletics New Zealand?
So I am the community manager at Athletics New Zealand. As our para athletes go into the blocks, we might need to switch away from this triple jump action. So community manager, I'm a bit of a paper pusher in the office at Athletics New Zealand. Very privileged position, but here we go. Anna Stephen, a very good start, as well as Paddy Walsh, but Danielle Aitchison showing out early and really streaking away from the Waikato Bay of Plenty. Danielle Aitchison, here comes Anna Stephen, won't quite get her at the line. A very good run. Danielle Aitchison takes it from Anna Stephen. Paddy Walsh, the young athlete from Taranaki, whose name has escaped me, and Shannon Murphy in fourth. Very good performances. We'll wait to see those times. Wheelchair athletes look to have very good performances as well.
That was Sasha Aldazhani
Fantastic.
from Taranaki. As we see the replay here, strong start by Danielle.
Yeah, that's actually the best start I've ever seen Danielle have. Great middle phase of the race. Anna Stephen really closing on her. She'd had a little, if Anna had been a little closer, she could have got a bit more, but under 14 seconds, 13.95 for Danielle Aitchison. Very good. Anna Stephen, second, 14.16. It's a very good time for her. Paddy Walsh in third, 15.18. Sasha Aldanzani, the T38, 16.26. Shannon Murphy, 16.28. Sarah James, 20.4. Gabrielle Wright, 21.06. And Gina Hill, 23.74. Great all-round performances. Look, Hayden's chomping at the bit to get back into the booth, Sarah. So, yes, I'm the community manager at Athletics New Zealand. So I work with a great team that oversees coaching, officiating, club development, and youth development. We're doing some pretty cool stuff at the moment. Outside of that, I'm a volunteer coach, so very lucky Athletics New Zealand allows me to start early, then finish early, so I walk out at the track at 4 p.m. and my little squad's there, so I do a little bit of coaching, and that's about it. Then I toddle off home and look after my wife and dog and live a pretty happy, simple little life, which I think is cool.
Well, good on you, Hamish. We've got the field here for the women's javelin throw. This is the senior women. Abby Moody from Canterbury, Christina Ryan, fresh off a heptathlon, the winner of the National Champs heptathlon last weekend in Whanganui. Maddie Wilson, she was second at the multi-events last weekend. They're tough, they'll come back for more. The Auckland athlete Leah Willman. And here we have the fifth competitor in the women's javelin, Tori Peters. Watch for her to go big. Her Otago athlete, Embla Vick, Wellington athlete Mia Bartlett, and rounding out the field, she also competed in the heptathlon last weekend from Waikato Bay of Plenty, Alice Taylor.
And also the highest ranked high jumper in the country at the moment, one of the famous Taylor sisters. So look, not to overshadow anyone else's performance, but Danielle Aitchison with her 13.95 in the running for performance of the meet. That is 97.56% of the current world record. So within a hair's breadth of a world record for Danielle Aitchison. Very, very good running. So I'm happy to have had a small amount of time in the booth with you, Sarah. It's been a pleasure, but I'm going to ring back in the professional Hayden Sherman, and hopefully I'll get to spend some time back in here later through the weekends.
As we look to the competitors in the under-17 women's 100 metre para, the start list in lane 4, Riley Sayer. Lane 5, the Auckland athlete Charlie Gardner-Hall. And also from Auckland in lane 6, Kate Danaher.
power races to go. I'm trying to chop out early. This is absolutely terrible behaviour from me. I should apologise. I'm excited about this race. Young Kate Borton, part of the same squads with Mitch Joint, Joe Smith, that I'm lucky enough to coach. Very good up-and-comer. You see, is that the first throw in this exciting women's javelin competition?
I believe it is. That's Abby Moody, Canterbury athlete, and on the screen right now is Christina Ryan. She is your national heptathlon champion last weekend.
Such a great all-rounder, Christina Ryan. Fantastically capable and confident over a number of events. I say this sitting next to a former, well, not a former, an Olympic heptathlete. So, how did you go in the javelin? Were you a javelin fan? Was that one of your stronger events?
I wouldn't say it was one of my stronger events, actually, Hamish. It's probably, I would almost say, my nemesis event, actually.
Okay.
But, you know, that's the beauty of the heptathlon.
It is.
The swings and roundabouts of it, but very happy to throw 41.93 at the Olympics for my personal best. So
that's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's not
pretty
bad.
Solid. That'll win a national medal most years in New Zealand, right?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
But you know, we've got the likes of Nafi Thean throwing 59 metres in the heptathlon these days. So
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but you were pretty springy, so you made up for it in other areas. So.
Do you know what I actually love the javelin.
Yeah.
You know, it's this real, it's 600 grams, but what you're trying to do with it in terms of following the flight of the javelin, it's highly technical.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to stop your body from going over the line. And I was very lucky to have coaches like Debbie Strange, Kirsten Hellier, help me over the years, Raylene Bates. This is Maddie Wilson, another heptathlete. Great to see the heptathletes backing up. She had a great hep last weekend. Second place in the National Heptathlon Championships in Whanganui. And third was Brianna Stephenson, who was also here in Wellington, backing up last weekend as we go to our marks.
Here we go. Kate Danaher, Charlie Gardner-Hall and Riley Slayer competing for the under-17 national 100-metre para title. Very good start, Riley Slayer, the T20 out of Waikato Bay Plenty, clearing her way. Kate Danaher doing very well to hold that gap, the T37. Riley Slayer, Waikato Bay Plenty, very good running from Kate Danaher, and Charlie Gardner-Hall rounding out the field. Charlie Gardner-Hall previously competed in the long jump. She'll be heading over to the shot put later today. So as I say, great to see these athletes taking that multi-event approach when they're younger, but pretty impressive stuff, I would say, Sarah, from Riley Slayer, a new athlete, 15.29 seconds. Kate Danaher, 16.34 seconds. And Charlie Gardner-Hall, 18.91. Very, very cool. I'm just checking. That is a new personal best for young Kate Danaher, so pretty happy, Coach, you're sitting next to here.
Congratulations, that's what you want to see. Now that's Leela Willman, who you just saw in the javelin, but taking to the runway now, we have Tori Peters, attended her first World Championships last year in Oregon and then went on to the Commonwealth Games. She is the national record holder. She has many titles to her name. Just bobbing down there in the background, Alicia Loveridge, our wonderful photographer, capturing all the images as Tori psychs herself up for the first round. She likes throwing here. Threw over 60 metres last year here and 59 recently.
There we go. She's got a nice little win to throw into here. What can she get it out to in this opening round? Tori Peters, the Commonwealth Games rep. Good effort into that one. Sailing, might just nip over that 60-metre mark in the first throw. We'll await for the unofficial distance, but looking pretty promising. First round, Tori Peters.
Great start by Tori. Her personal best is 62.40. She set that, as I said, at the National Championships last year. As we see this replay of her throwing, sets the javelin and then absolutely sends it.
Fantastic stuff. Wait for those results to come through on our Athletic Live app.
Oh, there we have it.
Go. Don't worry about waiting. 60.60 metres first round, Tori Peters. Where does that stack up in terms of national records, qualification, etc.?
Well, actually, funny you should say that, Hamish, because Hayden, Sherman and I have got a little bet. Oh, well, it's actually Hayden's position he put out there in the week of what the percentages of Tori Peters to her national record, which is 62 metres 40, set last year in the national championships, versus Connor Bell in the discus, who is breaking national records left, right and centre. So how far can they get close to, or what we want to see is over their national records this weekend.
And I just saw that lovely little skip after she had thrown that. So she's happy with that first round effort. She'll go over and have a chat to Coach Bev Savage. They'll make some little adjustments. I think there's more to come here, Sarah.
So her coach is actually Debbie Strange.
Yep.
So just to make sure, and I know Debbie's at home watching.
Sorry, Debbie.
So Debs, don't worry, I've got your back. I'll hold Hamish to that. But that is a great start by Tori. She hasn't thrown over 60 metres this season as we go to the Wellington athlete. And that's Mia Bartlett. We're at the Senior Women's Javelin Day 2 New Zealand Track and Field Championships. And Hayden is looking for the World Athletics qualifying standards,
So
and I can
automatic-
tell you that the automatic qualifier is 64.80. Now that's one potential.
63.80.
Okay, well 63.80. There's a slight typo on my notes here.
Okay.
Apologies. But that's one option. Get that done, signed off.
That's a nice one.
You know, that's the preferable one. Zoe Hobbs has taken that route this morning as Alice Taylor.
Runway. Oh, fairly good sling from Alice Taylor, the heptathlete / high jumper / javelin thrower.
And she's also been working with Debbie Strange in her javelin. She's got limbs on her, and I tell you what, she's been throwing well in training, so hopefully she can get it out there this weekend. Now, the other qualifying potential pathway is through a point system. Now, we're not going to get into it right now because we could be here all day. But in essence, the further you throw at your national championships with bonus points will put the athlete in a higher position on the world rankings, and that's what we want to see. And that's why it's so important that these senior athletes who are potentially on the road to Budapest come here, show up, win their event, and also perform at a really high level.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, Tori Peters has had a great career so far, but I know she'll be desperately keen to kick on, to get into that top echelon and to really begin to lock in her place. Even though it's many years into the future, Paris 2024 will be in the back of her mind, on the horizon. She's certainly capable of getting there, the young Waikato athlete. So after a bit of a false start last time, Sarah, I will bid you adieu. Thank you for putting up with me for a short moment of time. I'm going to hand back to Hayden Sherman and hope to see you through the rest of the weekend.
Thanks so much for joining us, Hamish. Now, I've just had a message here from a fan out there that those javelins are looking quite stabby today. So there you have it. Thanks, Toby. But we have Christina Ryan here on the runway. This is the senior women's javelin. Back in the hot seat, Hayden Sherman.
Good to be back.
Oh,
Good to be back.
Great to have you. Thanks for my coffee.
That's okay. The coffee cart is outside of the stadium, and it's almost like you can't take your eye off the action because there's national records going on. There's like those para sprints were way up there in the world record percentages, and now we've got this women's javelin competition featuring the New Zealand record holder with Tori Peters. Man, it's looking around the crowd, like everyone's just loving it so far this morning. It's so great, the action. And I do have to also give a big shout out to our who was going to be our co-commentator today, Mark Rosanowski. Unfortunately, he's a bit of COVID in the family, and he woke up not feeling too well either. So unfortunately, he's not going to be joining us today. But best wishes go out to him and his family, and hope that you guys can rest up and enjoy the coverage here from Newtown Park. And we will be taking a break shortly for our lunch break at some stage, but we're just trying to cram in as much of this javelin competition as humanly possible.
And you don't want to miss it, because the way Tori generally builds in a competition is that she likes to go through the rounds to get the feel of the jab. You know, this can be tricky in the jab selection. So she will take a specific javelin, which she's checked in, and depending on what the wind is doing will depend on what jab she selects. So different brand, different rating of javelin. And so she's working her way into the competition. So the fact that she started at 60, I'm excited.
As we see our next competitor lining up, I believe that was Liala Willman. Now, you mentioned rating of javelin. It's not weighting of javelin. They're all the same weight.
If only.
Yeah, if only. They're all the same weight, so 600-gram implement for the under-20s and the senior women. What do you mean by rating? What are we looking at there?
Okay, so basically you can select a javelin that is sort of rated to how far you throw. So Tori will be probably throwing about a 60 metre or 70 metre rated javelin, and that will just depend on where the centre of mass is in the javelin. So it's not advantageous to throw a javelin rated higher than your ability.
Yeah.
Because this is physics, it's a great science lesson, and it's not going to end well.
Yeah.
As we see Tori set on the runway, round 2. Tori Peters.
Heaves it out into the Wellington sky, out towards that 60-metre mark. She's been over that mark already this morning. Looks like that one will be just shy of the 60. So maybe, as you say, Sarah Carly Ross doing a few little tweaks to her technique. Was that the same javelin as the first one?
Oh, good question there, Hayden.
Sorry.
Hayden.
Yeah, that's all right.
But I'll noted I think that's a Nordic she's got in her hand. Maybe Debbie Strange will text me and tell me that. But the wind just dropped slightly, so that was 54.73. It was a flatter throw, and I can see the wind sock by the end of the runway, and it is
sort of a cross breeze coming over the left-hand shoulder.
Here's the
in
Otago
the wick.
athlete.
Yeah, so the northerly does feel like it's just picking up a little bit. So it'll be interesting this afternoon if those perfect tailwinds that we had for the sprints this morning will remain. I imagine that we'll be getting up at beyond that 2 metre per second. But the northerly can do strange things here. So we'll wait and see.
And I think that's what I liked about Zoe, is she got out this morning, she utilised the conditions, and 1.8 wind, nice little bit ray of sunshine on the track, job done.
So good. I was just walking around to get the coffee and just like, I can't believe we've had a national record. So every year, at the start of the year, I write down in a little notebook the potential and highly possible national records. I'll admit that I didn't put the little asterisks, for here we can see Zoe running to a new Oceania record in the 100 metres. I didn't put the little asterisks next to Zoe's name as a highly possible.
Didn't you?
Because I was like, she can't do better than last year. Oh. Last year was amazing. It was a possible.
Actually, yes, you showed me your notebook last week, and I do recall that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Sorry, Zoe. I should have more faith in
it's okay.
the greatest sprinter we've ever produced.
Here's Alice Taylor, round 2, senior women's javelin. She'll be looking to improve on her round 1. High arc there. She's a very good high jumper, Alice, and a heptathlete.
Yeah, she's coming off 4th place at the New Zealand Heptathlon Champs last week. Well, last week or the
last
2 weeks
weekend,
before? Last weekend, yeah. So, yeah, her key event is that high jump. She jumped 183 in that competition, and that's pretty spectacular for a heptathlete to be up that sort of height.
Got a sister who's in the States, who's also a high
Yes.
jumper, 186, Josie
Are
Taylor.
they twins?
They are.
They are twins.
They are. And Alice is actually off to join her sister on scholarship over there, so that's really
nice.
awesome.
Same school?
Rice University.
Oh, amazing.
Wonderful achievement.
That is really cool. That's going to confuse the coach. who's who.
That's Abby Moody. It's over 40 metres.
And Alice Taylor actually, has the New Zealand lead this year with that 184. Last year, Josie Taylor indoors got 186. So still slightly ahead of her sister. But that's great to hear that they'll be teaming up over there.
43.08 there for Abby Moody. We're in round 2. Speaking of heptathletes, Christina Ryan, national champion last weekend.
Yeah, now how many heptathlon titles has she won? Because she's definitely won the last 3. That's what I've got on my notes, but let's double check.
Nice throw there from Christina. You'll see that she just does the cross steps. And I like this from a heptathlete because you're trying to learn so many different technical events that you just get the basics right, do them well, get the javelin in the ground, and get the points on the board.
And in a competition like this, where you've got the heptathletes lining up with the more purebred throwers, is there this little internal battle between the heptathletes? Are they looking at each other like, my goal is just to beat the other heptathlete? or you're trying to take it to the other throwers?
They're trying to take it to the throwers.
All right, Maddie Wilson, who did a great high jump just a few weeks ago. She was up to 182, I think, new PB.
Yeah, at the International Track Meet. It's a beautiful afternoon in Christchurch a few weeks ago. And Maddie won the high jump, did a personal best in the hurdles and 200, which set her up well for the national championships last weekend, where she collected the silver medal behind Christina Ryan.
So I'm just looking up Christina Ryan's record on anzrankings.co.nz, and she has cleaned out the heptathlon titles since 2018 every year unbroken, and kind of adding 100 to 200 points every year. So she's the woman to beat. That is
so cool.
Phenomenal. So 6 years running.
That's a great achievement.
Yeah.
Coached by Terry Lomax. Thank you, Hayden. Just adjusting my microphone there. Just repeat that. Christina Ryan, coached by Terry Lomax, training partner of Hamish Kerr, Keely O'Hagan. Great squad there. Max Atwell, who won the decathlon last weekend.
So Tori is going on the runway now. So this will be her round 3 throw. So a reminder, at this competition last year, she set the national record. And this is our little challenge for Tori. She's the firm favourite coming in to win this event. But what percentage of her national record can she get? And let's compare that to Connor Bell's national record in the discus. This is a little cross-event challenge. Tori Peters, round 3, and the Go Media Women's javelin. Here she goes up to the runway, releases out beyond 50, out towards 60.
Stepped over the line though.
Stepped over the line, gets the red line. She has a little look at that.
Just watching the windsock there.
Yeah, what do you think happened there? Was it the...
Quite a bit of a headwind actually, as sort of started to pick up as Tori went down the runway, and sometimes that can be a bit challenging. You can push too much, knowing that you can sometimes feel the headwind. If the athlete's sort of in a state of flow, then they won't feel the wind at all. They'll just go through it. But sometimes you can push too much and lose your marks, and in that result, couldn't quite hold it there. But just recapping, Tori Peters through 60 metres, 0.60 in round one. She is leading the women's javelin as we go to the Otago athlete, Emla Wink. Apologies to Emla's family if I'm saying your surname wrong. We have just lost our live results. Hamish is going to bring them to you just shortly to tell you what this event is. The athletes involved. This is the 4x400 metres.
Yeah, this is the under-16s 4x4. So we've just got Wellington and Auckland are the two teams entered in this for the under-16s. So entering lap number 2 now. Auckland with about a 40-metre lead as they come out of the lanes and merge into lane 1. So about a 40-metre gap for Wellington to try and make up over this last kilometre in this 4x4. And I think what we're going to aim to do is maybe catch one more throw from Tori. Yeah, and then we'll take a break. So we'll carry on through to 12:30, and then we're going to be back at about 12:55 for session 2 on day 2 here at the Jennian Homes 2023 Track and Field Champs. And I think Sarah Cowley-Ross, they've probably made up about 20 metres, have the Wellington team. So it's getting a little bit closer after Auckland had a good advantage, but what, 25 metres, something like that?
Yes, love a good 4x4 relay.
Absolutely, and early in the weekend for this as well, obviously with the under-16s added to the program, we've had a tweak to the usual timetable, so we get to see a bit of this action earlier in the weekend. Usually this is at the end of the weekend on the end of Sunday when everyone's just absolutely exhausted, but now we get to see a 4x4 when everyone's a little bit more fresh. So Wellington brought that lead of about 25 metres. I want to say it's more like 10 now.
Yes, 10 metres. Great run here by these young 400-metre runners. Well, they might not be 400-metre runners, but they are certainly running 400 here as we change into the final leg of the under-16 4x400-metre relay. And the Auckland athlete has gone out hard.
Very hard. Good, strong start. The Wellington athlete a little bit more measured, so we'll see whether our Auckland athlete can hang on. He's pushed that lead out from 10 metres, probably more like 25, 30 metres now as he hits 200 metres to go. Auckland looks like they might have this one wrapped up for the title. Really pulling away. This is beautiful sprint technique here from our athlete number 239. Said you're diving into the start list, so we'll try and give confirmation on this athlete. But Auckland, they're going to take out the boys 4x400. Solid running, 3:44. And here comes The Wellington athletes come through in second place, about 3:52. It's always a good gauge to think of the senior national mile record. You know, John Walker's, I think, 3:49. So if you're getting around there, you know you're moving. The mile being 1,609 metres, so a little bit extra than the 4x4.
I've seen some great miles in the last few weeks from Samuel Tanner. You would have been excited about that.
Sam Tanner's done some amazing mile races over in the States. He's mixed up outdoor. This season he's done outdoor, indoor in the Northern Hemisphere, and cross country with the mixed team relay. That's quite the February to do all of those, all three components of distance running. And then we had Geordie Beamish just last weekend, the Boston University last chance meet, throw down a massive last 100 metres to come from 4th through to win the mile in 3:51. And I think that puts him up to pretty close to I think it's Nick Willis's indoor mile record. Might need to check that, but it got very, very close. He was within a whisker. So great to see Geordie and Sam Tanner really setting the standard for New Zealand middle distance running and making some waves as well. So we're midway through the Javelin competition, and shortly we'll bring you up to speed with that and catch one more round before we take a little lunch break and be back at just before 1 o'clock. So standings after the completion of round 3 in the senior women's javelin. Tori Peters is out in the lead with a 60 metres 60 throw. That was in round 1. And Abby Moody from Canterbury, she's got a 43.08. That's got her in second place. And then in third, Christina Ryan, 35.81. And then it's just over a metre back to Liala Willman, sitting there in fourth place, with Mia Bartlett and Maddie Wilson not too far behind her as well. So it's a very close competition for those minor placings, but Tori Peters, as you would expect, well out in front, as we see Embla Wick from Otago, who's sitting in 8th place with the best of 31.72. As the sun comes out again here in the capital.
Important job for this young man giving us this information. 29 metres there. And here's Alice Taylor, fresh off her heptathlon last weekend, into the javelin. And not quite the throw she was after there.
She's got a best of 32.09, which was from that first round. But that's within Kui. It's not too far from there up to Christina Ryan with that 35.81. So that bronze medal is definitely up for grabs. Abby Moody looks like she's probably got a bit of clear space around her for second place. She's another 8 metres on with a 43.08. And then Tori Peters living out there in the stratosphere, out beyond 60 metres.
So Tori had the win at the Murray Plant meeting last week in Melbourne. World Athletics gold level meet, 59 metres. Great to see so many Kiwis do so well at the Murray Plant meeting, and to have that experience of competing in an electric Lakeside Stadium in Melbourne. And then coming back home to the National Championships.
Yeah, it was great to see elite athletics return to Melbourne. I think the Melbourne Track Classic hasn't been held for a couple of years, potentially. And yeah, it was a good meet.
Oh, I loved it.
Fred Curley in the 200 metres, claiming the win about 30 metres from the finish, which is awesome to see.
Easy work for Curley. I was supposed to go to bed at 9 p.m, ended up staying watching the whole thing. It was too exciting.
Connor Bell the night before, breaking the New Zealand Discus record, his own record. And then in that men's 100 metres, so cool seeing Eddie and Tian keeping the Aussies honest in the 100 metres.
One of the highlights at Melbourne for me was actually going to be one of the showcase events that we have coming up this afternoon. That is the men's 800. It will feature James Preston and Brad Mathis, who ran a personal best at the Maury Plant meeting. But James Preston got up over Brad. But what will happen this afternoon as they vie for a national title?
Yeah, lot still to come today. In the field, we've got the women's shot put and men's long jump starting up at 1, and then the women's hammer throw, men's hammer throw, sorry, at 4 o'clock. So plenty to come. We are going to wrap up and we'll be back just before 1 o'clock for the afternoon session. We'll be able to give you the full wrap up of how this women's javelin gets underway, but the crowd here are going to be treated to a local band providing some entertainment, and we're going to go and grab some lunch, and we'll see you back here just before 1.
If you want to keep in contact with the women's javelin results, follow on the liveathletic.net website. We'll see you back here shortly. Can't wait.
To be awarded more than any other in the Registered Master Builders House of the Year Awards is testament to the craftsmanship that goes into every Jennian home. Thanks for continually raising the standards. Well done on 40 years, Jennian.